Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Crimson Dawn Lore, where I, the author, teach you, the viewer, about the world of Crimson Dawn. Today, we'll continue a mini-series on the character that my channel is named after, Rik Latyeskov, who was the first premier of the new Soviet Union. For this episode, we'll be covering his involvement in the Second Russian Civil War and its aftermath, as the fledgling new Soviet Union's government rebuilds a war-torn nation under his leadership. Now for a spoiler warning. This video will contain spoilers to the first arc of Crimson Dawn, so I highly suggest reading the first 25 chapters of the story on my DeviantArt page, and don't worry about the length of each chapter as they average to about a couple pages on Word. I'll put the link in the description below. Following Karzhov's kill in late 2016, Latyeskov was immediately branded as a traitor to the Russian people by Karzhov, and a warrant for Latyeskov's arrest was made, much like Karzhov's other political enemies. Luckily for Latyeskov, a Soviet-leading general who openly rebelled against the Reich named Sergei Veselov sent two operatives of the 12th Spetsnaz detachment, Colonel Vladimir Ovchinnikov and Sergeant Katyusha Mayakova, to save Latyeskov from capture. The two operatives were successful in doing so, and from their hidden base in the Ural Mountains, the Latyeskovist rebels formulated a plan to initiate a mass revolution all across the Reich. While they planned this revolution, Ovchinnikov personally trained Latyeskov in both hand-to-hand combat and firearms handling, so that he could fight alongside his comrades. The Latyeskovist Revolution, which began on November 7, 2017, was successful in Western Russia and the rest of the former Soviet republics. Taking advantage of the ensuing chaos in Moscow, Latyeskov and his new allies infiltrated the Kremlin via the Moscow metro in an attempt to arrest Karzhov. However, their attempt failed, and he fled to Magadan. In March of 2018, Karzhov made a daring assault on Moscow to try and recapture the city, which was the first battle of the Second Russian Civil War. This battle ended in a Soviet victory, though it was a costly one, and it started a 3-year stalemate that the Latyeskovs couldn't break, largely due to an experimental railgun cannon that the Reich military called Gunyer, which was built in Novosibirsk. In 2021, Latyeskov and the 12th Spetsnaz went on a covert mission to destroy the weapon and retrieve its blueprints, so that they could reverse engineer it. This led to the T-14 Armata being installed with a miniaturized version of the Gunyer railgun, and this drastically turned the tide of the war on the tank versus tank front once Soviet engineers made enough of them. After they conducted various other missions with the 12th Spetsnaz, Latyeskov and Mayakova started to fall in love with each other, and the two secretly planned to marry after the war's end. However, on August 3, 2023, during the final battle of the Second Civil War in Magadan, Latyeskov's dream of doing so was unfortunately taken away from him. Latyeskov and Mayakova attempted to arrest Karzhov during his last stand, and rather than killing Latyeskov before his end, Karzhov chose to take the life of the person Latyeskov loved more than the country he was trying to build. He mortally wounded Mayakova with his pistol, and in her dying breath, Mayakova's final wish was for Latyeskov to protect the new Soviet Union as if it were her very soul. After her death, Latyeskov was racked with grief and anger, losing himself in rage and killing Karzhov with his AK-12, avenging the death of his lover, his dearest friend and most trusted soldier. After the bittersweet conclusion of the Second Civil War, Latyeskov was haunted by Mayakova's death, thinking that if he killed Karzhov earlier, she would still be alive. Because of this guilt, he nearly thought about quitting everything he worked so hard to accomplish, and he considered leaving the new Soviet Union's leadership to General Veselov and Colonel Ovchinnikov. However, he rebuilt his shattered optimism, realizing that he would be failing his promise to Mayakova before her death. In the year following the Civil War, Latyeskov helped rebuild the nation, sometimes even personally helping citizens rebuild their houses, and visiting those who lost their loved ones to help console them. On December 25, 2024, he and the 15 Soviet provisional governors signed the founding document of the new Soviet Union, the Treaty of Reunification. To celebrate this occasion, a massive parade was held in Moscow's Red Square, which also unveiled the flag of the new Soviet Union. Unknown to many of its citizens, the flag was first conceptualized by the late Mayakova during the early years of the Civil War. In Magadan, a statue was placed in her honor, in which she wore a Spetsnaz parade uniform while holding the very flag she created. From 2024 to 2030, Latyeskov and the Supreme Soviet passed legislation that would vastly improve Soviet civilian life, along with bolstering the new Soviet Union's economy and military. And that concludes today's episode of Crimson Dawn Lore. Tune in next week where I cover Latyeskov's later life as premier of the new Soviet Union and his legacy after the end of his leadership.